Yo, we are back in After Effects, and in today's video I'm gonna show you how to create this crazy opium effects, or I like to call it black and white glow. It looks super dope and it's really easy to do as well. So this is how you do it. Now in After Effects you can see I have this simple clip which I'm gonna add the effect on. Also I forgot to mention this is one of the effects from my GRUNGE FX. If you don't already know, I got an editing pack which allows you to add those type of opium effects really easily into your music videos with over 60 plus assets for you to use. So if you want to download the GRUNGE FX, I'll link it in the description. It's totally crazy. It's available on my website. So if I just select my clip and show you a demo of it by going into user preset and pulling up the GRUNGE FX right here, it's on the default. It's called black and white glow as well. And if I just add it by double clicking, you can see this crazy effect that we already have, which I'm gonna recreate it and show you guys how to do it. So anyways, let's just remove all of these effects and we're gonna start from a fresh comp for now. Firstly, I like to create an adjustment layer because I like to add all of my effects into an adjustment layer. Then in this adjustment layer we're gonna add some kind of flicker. So for it I'm gonna use a sapphire flicker. So sapphire flicker into here. If you don't have sapphire flicker, you can play with Twitch, or you can just keyframe the exposure or add an expression on the exposure. But for now I'm gonna go to effect control and hit the stopwatch with the amplitude of S flicker and go a bit further around the end, I would say, and bring it up to 1.6 or something like that. Yeah, that's hard for sure. So that's the flicker right there. Now we're gonna make everything a little darker. To do that, I like to use levels into here. Levels. Also, if you like, you can use like something like a sapphire hotspot, but we're gonna keep it simple and use a simple levels into here. So firstly, go into histogram and just hit the stopwatch in there around the keyframes of the flicker and go over to the end and just push the black so it's a bit darker. As you can see, that's exactly what we want. It turns our footage dark, so something like that looks cool right there. That's a bit of contrast that we want. Now with this effect you can see all of this color distortion, which I'm not a big fan of. So to fix it, we're gonna add some kind of black and white effects onto this. To do it, a lot of people will use like a simple hue and saturation and just lower down the saturation, but it doesn't look that good. So the sauce behind it is we're gonna use a tritone. Yeah, you heard it right. We're gonna use a tritone onto this to make it black and white. So add a tritone in here, and this is the sauce right here in the midtones. Go over to the midtones and set it to white. Yeah, set it to complete white. Now if you take a look into your footage, it's at that crazy effect that we want, like something like a threshold, but it's a bit soft and has a bit of distortion, which I really love. So if I like compare it side by side with a hue and saturation, you can really see the difference. So if I add a hue and saturation and lower down the saturation, you can see this is the hue and saturation. Looks pretty simple, but with the opium look that we're going for. Now if I turn on hue and saturation and show you the tritone, you can see the difference. The difference is a lot. As you can see, the first one is like really dull, but the tritone is really like overexposed, which I really love. But let's just remove the hue and saturation for now. It's just for demo. After that, let's just hit the stopwatch in the blend with original and set it to 100 at the start and go over to the end and just lower down the amount to 0. So it also keyframed, which I really love. Now we're gonna add a glow. You can use like a deep glow or sapphire glow or optical glow, but I'm gonna use a default glow for now. So let's just add like a default glow in here and go into the settings and set it to something like 600 on the radius, and it gives a really cool look that I really love. And the same thing with it, keyframe the intensity with it, so something like that, 0 to 1. Now another little thing that I like to add is a camera lens blur. Whenever it starts like distorting, keyframe it to 0 and go few frame forward, like 3 or 4 frame forward, and set it to something like 16. Yes, 16 looks fine, and go back and set it to 0. Maybe I'm gonna bring it up more, so it's like about 19. So you can see this like blur in the start. It's a really subtle effect, but I think it makes it more like realistic in my opinion. We're gonna add grain. You can use like sapphire grain as well, but we're gonna use the default one, and go to effects control and set the viewing keyframing mode to final output, and just keyframe the intensity as well. So 0 to 1.5 or something like that. So we are pretty much done with the effect, but I like to select my main layer, just add a simple zoom in it. So a simple zoom, put the first keyframe around the end as well, and set the value to 160 at first, and just ease the keyframes, go into graph, make sure you are in value graph, and just make a graph something like this, and make sure the motion blur is also turned on. And you can see that certain movements add a lot of flow to your edits. I recommend doing this with every single clip or footage that you have, because it adds a lot of movement, which I love. But anyways, finally our effects looks something like this. As I already told you, this is one of the effects from GRUNGE FX, which I really love. If I go into here and add another adjustment layer and add one of these effects from GRUNGE FX, just for demo, for you to see how it works. So if I add like a wiggle transition into here, completely random one, and set the keyframe in the beginning, you can see that really adds that insane effect that we want. GRUNGE FX is really crazy, guys. I'm not even like bragging, but it makes the workflow 10x smoother with all those effects, really handy. If I add another one just to show you, so for this time let's just go with something like a blue displacement, or completely random one, and see it, you can see it looks so cool. So the possibilities are endless with this pack, and it helps you to add it faster as well. But anyways, that's it for today's video, guys. If you like this video, please consider hitting the like button, and also subscribe to my channel. It means a lot for me. Also, you can join my Discord server. I'm really active in there. I also got some free stuff for you there, like a lot of 3D models, overlays, sound effects, and even some free plugins. So yeah, see you in the next video. Peace.